The room was thick with tension as Harper Quinn faced the harsh reality of corporate life unraveling before her eyes. "Your salary doesn't align with our new compensation structure," declared Jordan Blake, her voice a cold echo in the sterile conference room. Two imposing security guards stood by the door, underscoring the finality of the moment. "This is effective immediately." Harper studied Jordan, noting the expensive tailored suit and the mask of feigned empathy. Behind that professional facade, Harper saw the truth. She was just another casualty in the wake of the recent merger. "I understand," Harper replied with a composed smile. "I wish you all the best." Harper Quinn had been the driving force behind the Enterprise Accounts Division at Apex Horizon Consulting in Austin, Texas, for a decade. She had nurtured this department from its inception, forging relationships with major clients until her team accounted for nearly half of the company's annual revenue. 10 years of relentless dedication, early mornings, late nights, and personal sacrifices all evaporated in under 15 minutes. As she gathered her belongings, her team watched in disbelief, with some unable to hold back tears. Harper embraced each of them, whispering words of encouragement and gratitude. She left the building with dignity, her head held high. Outside, the crisp autumn breeze embraced her, a stark contrast to the stifling atmosphere she had just left. Marcus, the long-serving security guard who had escorted her out, looked at her with regret. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Quinn. This just doesn't seem right." "It's okay, Marcus. Change is inevitable in business," Harper reassured him. But as she drove home, the enormity of her situation sank in. She had poured her heart and soul into Apex Horizon Consulting. She had postponed starting a family, missed her father's milestone birthday, and worked through illness to secure monumental deals. All because she believed in the mission they were building. When the merger with Vanguard Dynamics was announced 3 months ago, Harper had her doubts. Vanguard's reputation for ruthless business tactics was well known, and whispers of their strip and sell strategy had long circulated. Despite the board's reassurances that their values would remain unchanged, Harper now saw the truth. This was never about compensation. Jordan wanted the clients, not the person who had earned their trust. She assumed those relationships would seamlessly transfer to her successor. Harper pulled into her driveway, switched off the engine, and smirked to herself. Jordan Blake was about to learn a profound lesson about the difference between clients and genuine relationships. The first call came as Harper unpacked her office belongings. It was Aidan Brooks, CEO of Brooks Logistics, one of their biggest clients. "Harper, what on earth is happening?" "I just heard you're out," Aidan exclaimed. "It's true, Aidan. The new management decided to head in a different direction." "Different direction? You've been our go-to for 7 years. You helped us navigate the chaos of the Pacific expansion. My board trusts you." The sincerity in his voice moved her. Harper had built a bond with Aidan that transcended the typical client relationship. When his wife faced a cancer diagnosis last year, Harper had connected them with a specialist who ultimately saved her life. "I appreciate that, Aidan. Truly, but companies evolve, and so do their priorities. Well, our priority is to work with people we trust. I'm dialing Jordan Blake myself." The day unfolded with similar calls. Each client expressed shock, confusion, and sometimes outright anger. Harper refrained from criticizing Apex Horizon or Vanguard Dynamics. The situation was self-explanatory. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the kitchen windows, Harper Quinn found herself lost in the whirlwind of her new reality. Her husband, Logan, was at the stove, preparing their favorite pasta dish. Harper sat at the kitchen island, her phone buzzing incessantly with messages from bewildered colleagues and loyal clients. "You're handling this incredibly well," Logan noted, handing her a glass of red wine. "What good would falling apart do?" she replied, though beneath her calm exterior, a storm of emotions brewed. Harper had anticipated this outcome ever since the merger was announced. Vanguard Dynamics had a notorious strategy: acquire firms with strong client connections, eliminate the costly relationship managers, and gamble that the clients would remain out of habit. It was a tactic that had often worked for them, but this time they underestimated the depth of Harper's client bonds. What Jordan Blake failed to grasp was that Harper's clients weren't merely tied to Apex Horizon Consulting, they were loyal to her. She was more than just a department head. She was the reassuring voice at the end of a midnight call, the one who sent birthday wishes to their children, and the strategist who preempted their needs. "So, what's your plan?" Logan asked, his familiarity with her strategic mind evident. Harper took a contemplative sip of wine, considering the non-compete clause in her contract. It was restrictive but not insurmountable. More importantly, she knew exactly which clients would transition with her once the clause expired. "For now, I'm going to take a much-needed break. Maybe we'll finally take that trip to Spain we've been dreaming of." She smiled, but her mind was already plotting the future. By the next morning, the news of her departure had rippled through the business circles of Austin. Her phone was flooded with messages from former colleagues, industry contacts, and even competitors expressing their disbelief. Harper spent the day setting up her home office and replying to messages. Around midday, her former assistant, Naomi, called. "It's chaos here," Naomi whispered. "Jordan's been in back-to-back meetings. Brooks Logistics, Vance Manufacturing, and Grant Partners all called demanding answers about why you were let go." "That sounds stressful," Harper replied evenly. "Harper, she's telling everyone you were demanding an unreasonable salary post-merger, that you were difficult to work with." Harper chuckled softly. "That's amusing, considering I never got the chance to negotiate. Everyone knows it's a lie. Your team is outraged. We're all updating our resumes." After ending the call, Harper leaned back in her chair, pondering the narrative Jordan was spinning to justify her dismissal. It was predictable, yet myopic. Her clients knew her too well to believe she would prioritize personal gain over their needs. Later that afternoon, Harper received an unexpected visit. Elliot Grant, the venerable founder of Grant Partners, stood at her doorstep, leaning slightly on his cane. "I hope I'm not intruding," he said, his voice a gravelly warmth. "But some discussions shouldn't happen over the phone." Harper welcomed him in and brewed a pot of tea. Elliot had been her first major client at Apex Horizon Consulting, taking a chance on her when she was still carving her path. Their professional relationship had blossomed into a friendship beyond business. "I spoke with Jordan Blake this morning," he began, his weathered hands cradling the teacup. "She gave me some spiel about restructuring and compensation." "That seems to be the official stance," Harper replied. "Harper, I've been in this industry for half a century. I know when I'm being fed nonsense," he said, setting his cup down decisively. "Grant Partners has stayed with Apex Horizon Consulting because of you. When my grandson faced addiction issues, you found the treatment that changed his life. During the pandemic pivot, while others panicked, you provided solutions." He reached into his jacket and handed her an envelope. "This is a letter formally notifying Apex Horizon that we're reviewing our contract. I wanted you to know before they did." As the door closed behind Elliot Grant, Harper Quinn felt a profound sense of validation wash over her. "Elliot, I truly value your loyalty, but I don't want you to make business decisions based on personal feelings," she had advised him. Elliot's eyes crinkled into a warm smile. "This is a business decision. Without you, the quality of service will crumble. It's that simple." After Elliot left, Harper reflected on the domino effect that had just begun. It wasn't her hand that tipped the first piece, it was the strength of relationships built on genuine care and trust that set things in motion. This realization was both sobering and empowering. Harper hadn't just been working a job, she had been creating something priceless. 3 days after her dismissal, Harper's phone buzzed with a call from an unfamiliar number. "Harper Quinn speaking." "Harper, this is Riley Stanton from Vanguard Dynamics Legal." The voice on the other end was clipped, professional. "We've noticed some unusual activity with our key accounts and wanted to touch base." Harper moved to her home office window, gazing at the golden hues of the oak tree in her yard. "I'm not sure how I can help with that, Riley. I no longer work for the company." "Yes, but we believe you may be contacting our clients and potentially violating the terms of your non-compete agreement." Harper had expected this call. Jordan Blake was under pressure and searching for someone to blame. I haven't solicited any business or reached out to any clients with the intention of taking their business, Harper replied truthfully. If clients have reached out to me personally, that's their choice. We have reason to believe you're actively undermining the company. That's simply not true, Riley. I've been nothing but professional, but I can't control how clients react to my departure. After a tense exchange, Riley issued a thinly veiled threat about potential legal consequences if Harper violated her agreement. Harper hung up unfazed. Later that day, her husband Logan returned home early from his job as a professor at Lone Star University. I bumped into Tyler Hayes at the coffee shop, he mentioned, referring to a mutual friend on Apex Horizons board. He says all hell is breaking loose. Apparently, for major clients have formally requested meetings with the board to discuss your termination. Really? Harper mused, surprised at the speed of the unfolding events. Tyler said Jordan's been trying to manage it herself, but the clients are demanding board involvement. They're questioning her judgment. Harper allowed herself a small, knowing smile. That's interesting. Tyler also mentioned they had an emergency financial meeting. They're projecting significant losses if these clients leave. Over dinner, Harper and Logan discussed the implications. Logan looked at her with a knowing glint in his eye. You're planning something, aren't you? Harper twirled spaghetti around her fork thoughtfully. Let's just say I'm considering my options. She had spent the day researching what it would take to start her own consulting firm. The non-compete clause prevented her from directly soliciting Apex Horizons clients for a year, but it didn't stop her from laying the groundwork for her own business. And if clients chose to follow her once they were free from their contracts, that would be their decision. The next morning, Naomi called again. They're trying to replicate your client notes, she said. Jordan has the account managers combing through every interaction you documented, trying to piece together the relationships. Harper nearly laughed out loud. Her client notes were detailed, but they couldn't capture the nuances of years of relationship building. They couldn't document how she remembered that Brooks's daughter was allergic to peanuts when ordering catering, or how she sent Grant a bottle of his favorite wine on his birthday, or how she helped Vance's CFO through a personal crisis that threatened a major deal. How's that going for them? Harper asked. Terribly. Jordan had a call with Brooks Logistics yesterday that ended with him yelling that reading Harper's notes isn't the same as being Harper. With a weight of possibilities resting on her shoulders, Harper Quinn opened her laptop and poured her energy into crafting the blueprint for her future. She named her venture Quinn Strategic Advisors simple, yet professional. As the business plan took shape, she busied herself drafting a website and designing service packages. The hum of her phone interrupted her focus, displaying a text from a number she didn't recognize. This is Sierra Vance from Vance Manufacturing. Dinner tomorrow. There's something I want to discuss. Intrigued, Harper replied, I'd be delighted. Sierra, the CEO of Vance Manufacturing, was known for her sharp mind and direct approach. Harper couldn't help but wonder what Sierra had in mind. Sierra chose an elegant, intimate restaurant on the outskirts of Austin for their dinner. As Harper arrived, she spotted Sierra already seated, her face lighting up as Harper approached. Harper, thank you for coming, Sierra greeted her warmly, standing up to embrace her briefly. I've missed our conversations. It's only been a week, Sierra, Harper laughed. A week too long, Sierra replied, gesturing for Harper to take a seat. I hope you don't mind, but I've invited a few colleagues to join us. Before Harper could respond, she recognized Aiden Brooks and Elliot Grant being led to their table. Following them was Maya Ruiz, CEO of Ruiz Innovations, another one of Harper's former key clients. What's going on? Harper asked as they settled in. We're staging an intervention, Aiden quipped, though his tone carried a serious undertone, for Apex Horizon Consulting. Over appetizers, they recounted their meetings with Jordan Blake, each leaving unimpressed. Though the board reached out to smooth things over, the damage was irreversible. She tried to convince me that your departure wouldn't impact our service level, Maya said, shaking her head, then couldn't even answer basic questions about our upcoming project launch, information you had for months. The bigger issue, Sierra added, is trust. How can we trust a company that discards someone like you so easily? It shows a fundamental misunderstanding of why we do business with them. Harper listened, moved by their loyalty but cautious. I appreciate the support, but I don't want to be the reason your companies make decisions that might not be in your best interests. Elliot tapped his water glass with a spoon. That's precisely why we're here, Harper. This is about our interests. They had a proposition. Aware of her non-compete agreement, they assured her it would eventually expire. In the meantime, they wanted to know if she was planning to start her own firm. We've discussed this among ourselves, Aiden explained. We're prepared to wait out your non-compete period. When it expires, if you have your own consultancy, we want to be your first clients. We're not asking you to violate any agreements, Sierra clarified. We're just letting you know that we'll be reviewing our options when our contracts with Apex Horizon come up for renewal. Harper was taken aback by their coordinated approach. What about your current projects? We'll fulfill our contractual obligations, Elliot assured her. But we won't be expanding our services with them. And when the time comes, the implication was clear. They were offering Harper a lifeline, a guaranteed client base once she could legally work with them again. This is overwhelming, Harper admitted, in the best possible way. Maya leaned forward. There's more. We've been talking to other businesses in our networks. There's significant interest in your services, Harper. People who have heard about how you work, who want that same level of attention and understanding. As dinner progressed, they carefully avoided discussing specific plans or making concrete arrangements that might breach her agreement. Instead, they talked about industry trends, their business challenges, and Harper's insights on strategic growth. By dessert, Harper felt a renewed sense of purpose. These weren't just clients mourning the loss of a service provider. They were allies who valued what she brought to their businesses. As they prepared to leave, Sierra pulled Harper aside. We heard Jordan has been implying you were difficult during the transition. Harper's mind buzzed with possibilities as she drove home that night. The dinner had confirmed her suspicions. The relationships she had cultivated were resilient enough to endure this upheaval. More importantly, they represented an opportunity to build something new, something that genuinely embodied her values. As she stepped through the door, Logan immediately sensed her excitement. Good dinner, he asked. Life-changing, Harper replied with a smile. The following week brought an unexpected twist. Harper received an email from Nolan Pierce, chairman of the board at Apex Horizon Consulting, requesting a meeting. She agreed, suggesting they meet at a neutral location, a quiet cafe by the river. When Harper arrived, Nolan was already seated, looking noticeably more worn than when she last saw him at the company holiday party 6 months ago. Thank you for coming, Harper, he said, shaking her hand with sincerity. I appreciate your willingness to talk. Of course, Nolan. What can I do for you? Nolan sighed, running a hand through his graying hair. I'll be direct. The board is alarmed at the client response to your departure. We've received formal letters from 6 major accounts expressing their disappointment and indicating they're reviewing their contracts. Harper nodded, maintaining a composed demeanor. I understand that must be challenging. It's more than challenging. It's potentially catastrophic. He leaned in closer. Harper, the board feels your termination may have been premature. We'd like to discuss your return to the company. Harper had anticipated this possibility, but hearing it still sent a jolt through her. In what capacity? We're prepared to offer you a promotion, Senior Vice President of Client Relations, reporting directly to the board. A substantial increase in compensation, naturally. As for Jordan, she would stay as CEO, but your division would have considerable autonomy. Harper sipped her coffee thoughtfully. The offer was tempting, a form of vindication, yet something felt off. What happens to my team, the people currently trying to manage my client relationships? Nolan hesitated. There would be some reorganization, of course. Translation. Those individuals would be displaced to make way for her, echoing the same callousness she'd experienced. I appreciate the offer, Nolan, but I need to consider it carefully. He looked relieved, clearly having braced for outright refusal. Of course. Take the weekend to think about it. After he left, Harper called Logan to share the news. Are you considering it? He asked. I don't know, Harper admitted. It would be easier than starting from scratch. But it would also mean working under the woman who dismissed her without cause in a company culture diverging from her values. That evening, Harper received another unexpected call from Naomi. I shouldn't be telling you this, Naomi began in a hushed tone. But Jordan had another meltdown today. Vance Manufacturing informed her they won't renew their contract next quarter. She's blaming everyone but herself. How are you holding up? Harper asked, concerned for her former team. It's getting worse. 2 of the account managers have already quit. The rest of us are just trying to keep things from completely falling apart. After they hung up, Harper sat in her home office, contemplating. The board's offer was the easy route back to familiar territory, with the added satisfaction of Jordan acknowledging her mistake. But returning would mean compromising the vision she'd been nurturing since her termination. Quinn Strategic Advisors could be different, a firm that truly valued relationships over transactions, seeing clients as partners rather than just revenue streams. Harper picked up her phone and dialed Nolan's number. I've made my decision, she told him when he answered. I appreciate the offer, but I must decline. Harper, please reconsider, Nolan's voice pleaded through the phone. My decision is final, Nolan, but I wish you and Apex Horizon Consulting all the best. As Harper ended the call, she felt a tremendous weight lift from her shoulders. Sometimes, the toughest choices are the ones that ultimately set us free. 6 months flew by, a whirlwind of activity as Harper meticulously laid the groundwork for Quinn's Strategic Advisors. She found office space in a beautifully restored historic building downtown, crafted a comprehensive service model, and assembled a small but talented team, including Naomi and 2 other former colleagues who had parted ways with Apex Horizon Consulting. Diligently adhering to her non-compete agreement, Harper focused on cultivating relationships with businesses beyond Apex Horizon's clientele. Word spread rapidly throughout the business community in Austin, and Harper soon found herself fielding inquiries from companies she had never even approached. Meanwhile, the situation at Apex Horizon Consulting continued to unravel. Through the grapevine, Harper learned that Brooks Logistics had slashed their contract by 60%, Grant Partners had redirected all new projects to other firms, and Vance Manufacturing had opted not to renew their contract at all. The morning her non-compete officially expired, Harper awoke feeling an unexpected calm. This was the day she had been preparing for, but there was no need for dramatic gestures. The groundwork was already set. She arrived at the office early, just settling at her desk when her phone rang. Is today the day? Aiden Brooks asked, cutting to the chase. Harper smiled. It is. Excellent. I'm sending over the contract we discussed. We've been holding this project specifically for you. By noon, similar calls had come from Sierra, Elliot, and Maya. By the end of the week, Quinn Strategic Advisors had signed contracts with 5 former Apex Horizon clients, representing nearly $2 million in annual revenue. Harper hadn't poached a single client. She hadn't needed to. They had come to her of their own volition, just as they had planned that night at dinner 6 months prior. The most gratifying moment came when Harper's assistant forwarded an email to her new company address. It was from Jordan Blake, requesting a meeting to discuss potential collaboration opportunities. Harper politely declined. 1 year after her termination, Quinn Strategic Advisors had blossomed into a thriving team of 15, serving 22 clients across diverse industries. They had moved to larger offices and were earning a reputation for excellence and integrity. Harper was reviewing quarterly projections when Naomi knocked on her office door. You have a visitor, Naomi said, looking slightly uneasy. Jordan Blake. Harper raised an eyebrow. I don't recall having an appointment with her. You don't. She just showed up and insisted on seeing you. Harper sighed. Send her in. Jordan entered, a shadow of her former polished self, the confident posture replaced by a tense, almost desperate energy. Harper, thank you for seeing me, she began, taking a seat across from Harper's desk without waiting for an invitation. What can I do for you, Jordan? Jordan inhaled deeply. I'll be direct. Apex Horizon Consulting is struggling. We've lost 40% of our revenue since your departure. The board is considering drastic measures, including potentially selling the company. Harper waited, sensing there was more to come. I wanted to propose a merger between our companies. Your client relationships combined with our infrastructure could be powerful. The irony was almost palpable. A merger. Harper repeated. Yes, with you taking a leadership role, of course. Harper studied her, recognizing the desperation in the proposal. This wasn't about collaboration. It was about survival. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Harper said finally. Our companies have fundamentally different approaches to business and client relationships. Harper, please. I wish you all the best, Jordan. Truly, but my answer is no. As Jordan exited the office, Harper felt no sense of triumph or vindication, only a serene affirmation that she had chosen wisely in building something new instead of attempting to mend what was broken. The satisfaction she imagined didn't come from watching Apex Horizon Consulting falter, but from the success she had nurtured from the ground up. Harper had demonstrated her worth not through confrontation, but through steadfast dedication and genuine care. She realized that sometimes the most powerful response isn't about fighting back, it's about moving forward. And in that forward motion, Harper discovered not just success, but true fulfillment.